Hello and welcome back. Time to go and check out the Blacklake district, as I think I've completed the other districts. I haven't leveled up, so I'm not wandering around all the companions yet. But I only need 500 XP, so I'll probably be wandering around all the companions pretty shortly. Right, we need the Blacklake district. Ooh. Map. Which I think is Beggar's Nest. What's behind the temple? Oh, not been there. Well, let's have a wander in here. Was it Tab? Yeah. I've not played for a few days because I didn't get enough sleep. So, I was playing card games yesterday. I've not played Hearthstone for ages. It was actually quite fun. And I'd been playing Magic Duels just because I've almost unlocked all the cards. I think I've got the final set. I'm at 20 or 30%. So it's like a month of doing dailies or something like that, and I'll have everything unlocked. Oh, I should have done all this at the beginning. I would have had more cash. I'm assuming that's the entrance to Blacklake. No, City Gate. Blacklake is this way.
Hello.
Hail, sir. The Wailing Death has created a lot of conflict beyond these gates. Lady Aribeth ordered us to restrict access to the Blacklake district. I assume you have the proper quarantine clearance to enter the district. Lady Aribeth has assigned me to temporary militia duty. Aye, there was word she'd be bringing in adventurers to help fill the ranks. What can I help you with then? Can you answer some questions about the Blacklake district? I'd be happy to answer a question or two. What do you want to know? Is there any way I can help out in there? Well, best bet would be talk to a guard in the area. Past my gate is a bit of a slums, but if you keep going, you'll reach the Blacklake district. Other side of that is where the Blacklake gate guard should be stationed. Maybe he'll have a better idea of how you'd fit in or help out. Be careful on the way in though. There's a burned out bit of city between here and the Blacklake proper. Nothing but plague crazed thugs in there. Blacklake is fine, but the first bit is dangerous as hell. Are there any places I should look out for in the Blacklake district? The Noble's Quarter itself is barricaded in, but being a guard gives you access. Once inside you can check out the zoo in the north and a rough house tavern called the Board Laid Bear in the centre of the district if you want. Is something else you wanted to know? No, I think that'll do. Be careful, there's plenty of danger afoot.
Hey there.
Please, can you help me? I don't know what to do. Slow down, just tell me what's wrong. My name is Sendrin. Everything has gone wrong. This whole area is overrun, and those bastards in the Blacklake don't care. They've locked themselves away, abandoning the whole place. What happened here? Why is this area in such a bad shape? After the whaling began, we got caught between the quarantine and the Blacklake barricades. We were at the mercy of the plague thugs. Some of them used to be friends, but the plague took their minds, drove them mad. They became like animals. Then Loxar showed up. Tell me about this Loxar. Loxar's a big half-orc. Not sure where he came from. He showed up after the first few plague thugs started going mad. Loxar looted in their wake. After a while, when the place was disrupted, Loxar just started killing people and taking whatever he wanted. I think he realized the guards don't care about us in here. I'm one of the last survivors. I've no reason to stay. He's just killed my family, taken everything. I just wanted to know he's dead before I try and get to the city core. I'll see what I can do. Will you? Thank you. Loxar is in this no man's land somewhere. He's pretty much taken whatever houses he's wanted. There's still plague mad thugs around too. Please be careful. You're the first person to give a damn about anything that's happened here. Thank you. Excellent. Smithers. So I'm guessing we've got a mission to go and kill Loxar. Oh, rabbit dog.
Honor and glory.
I've probably totally forgotten how to play after not playing for a day. Although mostly involves clicking things and watching them die. There's not much in way of special abilities. No remains? Nope. Nope, let's try this house. I didn't take any damage. Oh, I'm slowed for some reason. Am I slowed? Skill decreased. I don't know. Oh, my stealth skills are decreased because I'm riding a horse. Absolutely wrecked. How much XP? I'm only getting 5 XP per thug. What remains? Arrows. Anything else? Nope. I'm guessing they're just the same level as basic zombies and things like that. Well, I need to kill 100 of them in order to level up.
Honor and glory.
Ooh. Well, that's a good start. Come on, kill them faster. Just swarms of them coming at me. Come at me, bro. Oh. Tommy actually took some damage, so we'll have a rest. I've still got a blood sale uniform. That should have I should have done both routes into the to get to whatever his name is. But who can be bothered? Let's rest. Can't rest. Oh, it's because he's here.
Here comes halfling death.
Ooh, parry my attack. God, that's a tough thug. He managed to survive 2 attacks. No loot. Rest. There we go. Just Tommy's not quite up to full health. Let's pour myself a drink. I decided to have some beers last night, so I'm a bit groggy this morning. So I'm having some caffeinated beverage. I've got a busy day today as well. Therapy later, and then I've got I'm going to a cafe to do writing towards my novel, and then I've got my writing class this evening. Is that everything clear? There's no doors here. No, don't see any. Did I loot these already? I swear I'm getting dementia. Oh, no, I hadn't looted that. Two minutes after. I suppose it's all samey, that's why you don't remember. If there were something unique catches to it, but all of them look the same. It's also paying attention to what I'm saying as well as the game, so I imagine if you're focusing on it exclusively, it might be easier to keep track of things. Oh, is there more there? I might end up leveling up just on kills. Come on.
I'll slit your throat!
Oof. Not killing them as quickly this time. I'm not sure where the other 3 companion quests are, because I've completed some of them. Badly wounded. That's okay, we'll rest. Yeah, the forged document and the bread recipe I've got. But there's 3 more companions and I'm not sure what their quests are. I should have got a hint of it from, let's save. Because sometimes you die when you open chests. Ooh. Heart shield. We like.
Eh? What can Tommy do for you?
Go away. I'm stuck.
Eh? What can Tommy do for you?
Right, let's manually move. Let's go into this tower. Smash some people up. I don't know if you do more damage when you're not mounted on your horse. Is that Luxor? It is Luxor. Should finish the dog off. There we go. Multiple attackers is worse than big. Oops. Mighty Evil. Oh, go back to base. Let's get Tommy
It was so strange, you know?
and identify my new shield.
You are a welcome sight. We are all eagerly awaiting it.
Require temple services. Require you to eyeball that shield. Identify. +1 armor class. And it gives even more arm class. So yeah, I should use it. God, I've got a lot of rubbish. What do I need smugglers coins for? I should go back to the what's called district. Sell those. The docks and see what I can spend these smugglers coins on. I should also, well, maybe I should go and sneak into the blood sale hideout, and because there'll be bonus stuff there. Okay. Oh wait, no, we're not. Oh god, I almost died. Bosses are something else in this. Okay, let's pay the 50 gold. Leave my gnome alone. God's sake. Smite evil on you. Might have to teleport back again. Come on. Do him. Give him a proper doing. Let's teleport back. Be safe. There we go. Get Tommy back. I'd prefer if the bad guys didn't just automatically go for rest. Automatically go for my companions rather than me. Being a paladin, kind of the point is that I'm in heavy armor and have ridiculous armor class. Recall portal. Enter portal. There we go. Oh good, he's attacking me. It's got substantially less chance of unable to reach target. There we go. Feels like cheating, teleporting back to town like that in the middle of fights. No. I want your remains. Cloak, head of Loxar, adamantine. Ooh. Adamantine's good for making. It's good for making something. Oh, I've got diamond as well. I can maybe upgrade my sword. I forgot to look up what the smith weapons do. Alright, if we go back to that guy, we might level up and then we can go and speak to all the companions. Let him know Loxar is dead. It's a very Star Warsy name. Loxar.
Hey there.
I have the head of the villain that was killing everyone. Nothing left. I have nothing. Please, if you can help, will you destroy the beast that has taken all I had? You do? I knew someone would make him pay. I knew there had to be some justice left somewhere. Thank you so very much. Continue. I wish I had something to give you. I have nothing except my gratitude. I thank you. Oh, I didn't level up. Oh well, let's rest. Let's rest some more. And once we're rested, we'll rest. I had a filling a couple of weeks ago. Every time I drink anything cold, it's painful on the side of my mouth. Really annoying. I'm not sure if I'm getting used to the pain or the pain is getting less. I think the pain's getting less then. Because it was quite bad the first day. I couldn't drink tea or coffee or anything like that because it was so painful. From the heat. No, not F5. G. I don't know if that's like something that exclusively happens with metal fillings, or if it happens with the white ones as well. It's kind of obnoxious. Under the NHS, if you get NHS dental treatment, you can get metal fillings for free, but you can't get white fillings, which, fair enough, it's more expensive. But if you want to get white fillings, you can't just pay the difference. You have to pay the whole price, which is pretty lame. At least at my dentist, you do. Come on, die, hired assassins. Come on. Oh, there we go. That's the level up.
Here comes Halfling.
I think Tommy's going to go down again, but it doesn't matter because after this fight, we're going to go and wander and chat to people anyway. Come on, one more hit. Nope, clearly not one more hit. Well, these are tough. Let's give him a potion. Oops. Oh well. More XP for me. Was he drinking a potion? Chancers. Last one. Yeah, so yeah, I should get all of the quests from this zone, I think. Now that I've leveled up. Anonymous letter. In the place of a signature, this letter bears the mark of a stylized reptilian eye. Other than this marking, there is nothing to indicate who the author may be. Our agent within Neverwinter has informed us that several of the water Davian creatures have been delivered to Aribeth and are now stored in the safety of Castle Never. If all of the creatures are recovered, a cure for the Wailing Death will be discovered, and our efforts will be for naught. It will not be possible for our agent to orchestrate an attack upon Castle Never, as was done with the Academy. Those who serve Lady Aribeth must be stopped before they deliver the creatures to the safety of the castle at any cost. Should you succeed in this, your rewards will surpass your grandest imaginings. Should you fail, you will feel pain and suffering such as no mortal was meant to bear. Long live the people of the Eye. This note should be shown to someone in authority. So we're going back to speak to Fenthic, and then we've got to speak to all the companions. And we'll come back and finish Blacklake. Well, let's do all the crates and stuff before we go. We'll come back and do Blacklake once we've done that. I think that's all the crates. Definitely got this? Yeah, we did. Don't think we got this though. Oh, here we are. Nope, didn't get that. Close right back to town. Resurrect the ever-dying rogue. Oh, I should level up. Level up Paladin, okay. Discipline. And Persuade. Okay. Oh, I get new feet. Cleave. Sounds good. Let's see what it does. If a character kills an opponent, he gets a free attack against any opponent who is within melee weapon range. Oh, and you don't need to turn it on. Okay. What does Divine Might do? Character must spend one of his turn undead attempts to add his charisma bonus to all weapon damage for a number of rounds equal to the charisma bonus. That's quite strong. Divine Shield means you can hearth, like I've been doing anyway. The character may spend one of his... Excuse me. The character may spend one of his turn undead attempts to add his charisma to his armor class for a number of rounds equal to his... which is good, but it's not that good if you've got companions with you. 2 weapon fighting, weapon finesse, weapon focus. Still spell, thug. I want both. I think cleave is probably for the best. Divine Might is good. It's very good. Some would say too good. Is it attack? Just weapon damage. That sounds pretty strong. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Cleave is really nice there. And it's passive. And I'm a sucker for passive. Because I don't need to do anything. Let's take... let's take Divine Might. Okay. Now let's turn F2 into empty quick thought. Assign special abilities, paladin abilities, smite evil. Oh, here are Divine Might. F2. Cool. Oh, it doesn't show you the charges. Oh well. Right, we're going to rest anyway, because we're injured. And speak to Tommy Undergallows. Oh, we should go speak to Fenthic. Let's speak to Tommy first.
What can Tommy do for you?
I think you need to level up. You'd be more useful to me with a little training. I'm always useful. Seeing as I've gained a bit of skill though, let me sit down for a moment, then I can show you what I can do. There we go.
Okay? What can Tommy do for you?
I just need to talk. Oh, what do you have in mind, my lord? Continue your story from before. What's this? Oh, right. Where was I? Was I telling you about my infiltration of the house of the Great Vizier Sabalan Vahiyed? Yes, I believe I was. This was no ordinary mission, my friend. Sabalan had stymied the efforts of my Medusan patroness for many years. He was a mage of no little power. Sending me to kill him was both a vote of confidence in my abilities, and I thought a near certain sentence to death. Looking me in the eyes would have been cleaner. Were you about to infiltrate his house? I did say it was the job that made me famous, didn't I? And anyway, the threat of being turned into a short statue was rather an incentive to succeed. Perhaps it's fortunate that us halflings aren't given much credit. I was able to squirm my way into the vizier's service as a kitchen boy, and nobody gave me a second thought. For over a month, I was pleased to serve the vizier his meals. I spent my time studying him, looking for a way to kill him cleanly. He barely even noticed my presence. Why didn't you just poison his food? I would have, I suppose, except that he ate his meals with his daughter, and that made things a bit complicated. His daughter? Ah, the sweet lass. Seda was her name. Human, to be sure, but she never looked down upon me. I suppose I delayed killing Sabalan at the time just to continue being around her. Though I didn't think that at the time. There was just one more excuse after another. The months grew longer, and Seda and I grew closer. She couldn't resist my charms. Of course, no lass can. When I put my mind to it, we had to be secret about it. I was, of course, just the kitchen boy. Were you in love with her? Oh, I don't know about that. I thought so at the time, sure enough. My patroness kept threatening to turn me into a statue and let the pigeons have their way with me, however. I was young and foolish and stupid, however. 3 traits that are great in a buxom lass, but poor in an assassin. I decided I couldn't hurt Sada by killing her father, and told my patroness to go look in the mirror. Needless to say, she didn't take it well. You betrayed her. I wouldn't take it well either. Why didn't you just kill the mage and run off with the girl? Let's go for that. The girl wasn't going anywhere. Trust me, I tried. Come to think of it, the mage wasn't that easy to kill either. My Medusa patroness decided to take matters into her own hands, of course. If I'd known, I would have left Kellenport a lot earlier. I still don't see how all this made you famous. It certainly didn't look that way at the time, I'll grant you that, my lord. At any rate, it's a bit of a story. I'll tell you the rest some other time. Let's just keep on with your quest for now. Okay. I'm gonna need to... I don't know if I'll be able to get their quests by the time we leave this zone. Right, let's speak to Aribeth. I found a note you might be interested in.
Let me see. You were right to bring this note to our attention. Take it to Fenthic. He is the one in charge of unmasking the enemy behind all this. He will find your note most interesting, I am sure. Is there anything else I can do for you? Of course. I will do my best to help. Farewell.
I don't... It might actually be completely pointless speaking to Aribeth there. You can probably just go straight to Fenthic.
Hello again, and well met as always. Is there something I may do for you?
I thought you might be interested in this note. Let me see. A traitor in Neverwinter. One who betrayed us at the Academy. This would explain much, Tam. Everybody knew the Academy was being used to house the Waterdavian creatures, Fenthic. Even the students themselves had heard of the rumours. The attack was a result of gossip and loose lips from those Aribeth chose to trust instead of my faithful Hellmites. We'll be wasting our time... We'll be wasting our time looking for this phantom spy. The attackers knew enough to go straight to where the creatures were being held. You make a good point, Tam. The attack in the Academy would not have been so efficient had they been relying solely on rumours. Rest assured that I intend to follow every lead in my efforts to find who's behind the suffering of Neverwinter. You've done well to bring this to me, Tam. It's an honor to serve Neverwinter, Fenthic. We're lucky to have a man like you help in this matter. Tam, please accept these 300 gold pieces as a reward for your actions. This note was not easy to obtain, Fenthic. I imagine you went to great trouble to achieve this evidence, Tam. I suppose for one who's dedicated to our cause, I could spare another 50 gold pieces. Careful, Fenthic, lest your generosity empty our such coffers. An extra 50 gold pieces will not break us, Death, sir, and Tam has earned each and every coin. Is there anything else you need, Tam? I'll be going now. Go with the blessing of Tyr upon you. Okay. Companion time. I just need to speak to them.
You would return, so I waited here. I've hardly damaged anything since you left. I thought you'd be proud. May I join with you once more, my friend?
Yes. I shall try to breathe life back into you in your quest.
Hey there, dear. What can I do for you?
I think you better level up. The goddess has blessed me with more spells and skills. Give me a moment to rest, and I will be more capable than ever of assisting you.
Hey there, dear. What can I do for you?
I just need to talk for a while. I love chatting with you, but I don't think we should focus on your mission right now. Tell me more about your story. I appreciate that you've waited patiently to hear more of my story. I think we have gone through enough together to warrant a deeper level of trust. I just ask that you don't make fun of me, since this was such a dark blot on my name. Many years ago, a cleric performed a service to the people of Everesca by uncovering a dry plot to destroy the city. Zaheen Moonbrow came and presented the priest with a silver goblet, and that's what was stolen. Yes, the thief stole it right from the temple and managed to sneak out of the Everesca. No small accomplishment there. The other priests were frightfully mad. Only the head priest was willing to concede that it could have happened to someone else. But of course it didn't. It happened to the person that broke the head off the golden statue of Corellon. I didn't know what to do, so I stayed up all night, praying to Sehanine to guide my path. The goddess heard my prayer, and just before the first ray of light broke the dark, I was granted a vision. What happened in the vision? I saw myself leaving Everesca and going on a long journey. At the end of the journey, I returned with the chalice. The trip itself was a blur. I had no idea where to go, other than north and west. When I told the priests of my vision that would take me far away from them, they held a cheerful celebration to honor my sacred quest. It was the first moment in my life when I felt I truly belonged. Yes, I'm sure they were very happy for you. But now they will never welcome me back into their city. My quest has failed. Surely it's not failed. You'll find it someday. No, you do not understand. No one will ever understand. I shall be outcast for life. Please, Tam, I should not have said so much. We'll talk more of this later, but not now. Okay.
Hey there, dear. What can I do for you?
Let's try talking to her again. I guess I should be glad to share my daunting task with a friend. We're both adventurers. If I trust you with my life, I should trust you with my troubles. I'm sorry I was so overcome with despair, but you see, I found the silver chalice of Moonbow once already. We found it in a small town called Lork. But then, Tam Axlia, I lost it again. How in the name of all that's holy did you lose it again? As I said, I found the chalice in the merchant town of Lork. The thief, a halfling, tried to sell it to a Zent merchant, but the halfling tried to charge him 500 gold. The Zent claimed the religious artifact as a tribute to Bane. The halfling thief protested, but the mayor of the town is a Zent as well. Next thing the halfling knew, he was arrested for the murder of an old woman who had spit in the face of a Zent soldier the day before. Obviously, he never committed the crime. It never fails to shock me when people are capable of such injustice. How did you find all this out? I found out what happened when I showed up in town and saw a mob of people about to hang him. Everyone was laughing and telling the story to anybody who'd listen. They actually thought such an injustice was funny. Even the bloody merchant was there for the hanging. He was drinking from the sacred chalice. I can't believe he would do that. They already had the rope around the halfling's neck. When I heard the whole story, I didn't know what to do, but I had to stop it. I ran forward into the crowd, yelling for them to stop, but I tripped and fell in the mud. I looked up and saw the face of a kindly grandmother. I reached for her hand and she kicked me right in the teeth. That's horrible. The mob turned into a giant brawl with fists and laughter flying everywhere. I crawled out of this crowd and fled the town, weeping as I ran. I made it to the forest and collapsed in the bushes off the road. As I lay there weeping, I heard a twig snap. I spun around, and standing there behind me was the halfling. He winked at me and toasted me with a chalice, which he held in his hand. I cried out that I had to have it back, but he just laughed and disappeared into the wood. I never saw him again. Don't worry, Lino, I'll help you find the chalice. Thank you, sweet Tam. That's a kind answer from a good friend. I know I shall probably never find the chalice again, Tam, but I shall not give up. I must return it to my people to restore my honor. If I find it, I'll let you know. Thank you, dear Tam, but don't let my concerns interfere with your duty to Aribeth. My problem was self-inflicted. Curing the plague is more important. I think that'll be everything she has to say.
There, dear. What can I do?
Just want to talk for a while. Love chatting with you. Tell me more about your story. I know I shall probably never find the chalice again, Tam, but I shall not give up. I must return it to my people and restore my honor. Yeah, so that's it. Right, Tommy.
I figured they'd drag your carcass back here eventually. You need me to come with you again?
Lead the way.
Eh?
I can probably get the
What
rest
can
of his
Tommy
quest as
do
well, though.
for you?
I just want to talk. Continue your story from before. Oh, what do you have in mind, my lord? Oh, fine, fine. Picture this then, my lord. There I was, lying in the arms of my human sweetie, completely unaware of my angry patroness was on her way. I was unaware at the same time that my sweetie's father, the vizier, had been tipped off to my presence by an old rival of mine. Both the wizard and the Medusa were descending on the tower, determined to kill me, and I was excuse me. Oh. I was completely asleep in the hay, naked as a jaybird. Well, that can't have been good. Yes, well, being naked in the hay can leave you picking straw out of your... Oh, you probably mean the coming to kill me thing. No, that wasn't good. So I'm lying here with a big smile. Suddenly, bam, the door to the loft flies open, and there's a great vizier, full of rage. So he caught you with his daughter. Did you defend her honour? Oh no, I'd already taken her virtue, and I wasn't aware of any honour, my lord. No, I hid behind her and screamed in terror like a banshee. Not the most heroic picture, I admit. I darted through his legs and fled naked into the streets. Before I knew it, the vizier was chasing me through half the city, firing off lightning bolts and curses at rapid pace. My patroness was also a bit miffed to see us breeze past her. She too took up the chase. Her fury grew and grew as we stayed ahead of her. I ran for all I was worth, but bugger me if that wizard couldn't move those skinny little legs of his. The Medusa finally found him, throttling me angrily atop the largest building in the market Saban. Well, my patroness was mad enough that she was determined to be the one to murder me first. She and the vizier yanked me between them like some tug-of-war. All I could do was gurgle helplessly. They shouted threats and screamed at each other until the Medusa lifted her veil. The vizier saw this and launched himself at her, casting a deadly spell as he flew. He hit her squarely, and they both flew over the edge of the rooftop. I would have been gladly rid of both of them, but alas, poor Tommy was catapulted right along with them. We hit 3 canopies on the way down and finally landed square in the middle of the market. The vizier's spell had worked and the Medusa was dead, but not before he'd been turned into a statue. A broken statue by that time, and I sat naked and stunned, but otherwise unhurt. And this made you famous? Well, sure, my lord. The crowd assumed I had killed a powerful Medusa and a famous wizard, barehanded no less. I was in no condition to argue. Word spread rapidly, of course, and the story grew. I wouldn't believe some versions I heard. Sadly, the constabulary believed them. I was a wanted man for murdering the vizier. Good for my reputation, perhaps, but bad for my health. His daughter wasn't too impressed either. She was angry at you for killing her father. You'd think so, but no. She just didn't want to shack up with a wanted halfling. I had to prove my innocence. That's why I decided to come to Neverwinter. One of my oldest friends lives here, and he is a forgery master. I was hoping he'd make me some documents to clear my name in Kellenport. Sadly, I suspect Bellman's fallen victim to the plague. Can't see him anywhere, so that means no evidence and no marriage for poor little Tommy. Perhaps we'll find your friend yet. Oh, who cares about him? I just wanted these documents. Maybe he finished them before he croaked. Sigh. I can only hope. Are these the documents you were talking about? What? You're kidding, right? Let me see that. Oh, Hayden. Lord Friedling. Arfling. Yep, that's my old moniker. And it really is Belma's work after all. Just my luck that it would be his crappiest work ever. I'll be laughed out of Kellenport if I try to use this. Ah well, that's life. Seda had the biggest buck teeth anyway. Don't know what I was thinking. I suppose I should thank you for saving me the effort, my lord. Come to think of it, here. Let me give you this in return. It was a ring that the Vizier wore, and I managed to slip it off his finger before he got stoned. Thank you, Tommy. Yeah, well, the Vizier seemed to value it. Said it had great magic in it, but it never did nothing for me. Maybe it'll bring you luck. At any rate, I don't have to worry about finding stupid Belmar anymore. I would have had to kill him for being an idiot anyway. Let's just keep on your quest, my lord, eh? Excellent. Done. Done and dusted. I assume the Silver Chalice is in the Blacklake district. So, 3 more stories. I would have done a voice for, what's her name? Linny. Was it Linny? But her introduction thing wasn't enough for me to get a handle on what she sounds like. I will do my best for the other 3. Where's the... Oh, there you are. Body knock.
You're back, so you must need something. The most logical assumption is that you want me to join up with you again, correct?
Yes. Okay, then let's go. There's an entire world out there waiting for us to discover it.
Is there something you need?
I think you need to level up. My skills have improved somewhat. Give me a few seconds to rest and I shall be ready to show you my new skills. Ooh. Oh, you got new gear. Cool.
Is there something you need?
Is that new gear? Or did they... I don't know. Anyway. I just wanted to talk for a while. I'm a staunch proponent of the free exchange of ideas, Tam. What is it you wish to know? I want you to continue your story from before. You seem quite interested in my time as an apprentice under Profio, Tam. I suppose I can afford a few minutes for me to recount those days to you? Profio instilled in me the basic principles of magic and the underlying laws governing the arcane. His knowledge and wisdom were an inspiration to me, though his organizational skills were somewhat lacking. What do you mean by that? I would constantly stumble across magic items carelessly strewn around the tower. Potions and elixirs from half-finished experiments would be left sitting on the kitchen table. Ancient scrolls he'd been copying would be stuffed under cushions of his chairs. Wands would turn up in closets and drawers. And he never, ever locked his laboratory, despite the countless powerful magic items and dangerous experiments he often dabbled in. You must have found that quite a temptation. I admit, seeing all those potions and wands and scrolls just lying around was difficult. I must confess that eventually I did give in to my temptation. I just snapped. I couldn't take it anymore, and I did something rash and completely out of character. I waited until my master left on an extended trip, and then I cleaned up Profio's laboratory. I organized the scrolls and potions and wands. I built shelves to store the magical components of his research, and I made a catalog card system so he could cross-reference all of his tests and results. Items that were particularly powerful or unstable, I locked safely away in a magically reinforced chest with a key that I presented to Profio on his return. That's it. You cleaned up. What can I say, Tam? I was young and foolish. Profio's own reaction was similar to yours. He couldn't believe what I had done, although he continued to use the filing system I'd set up for him. You had all that magic at your fingertips and you didn't even try to use any of it. What kind of sorcerer are you? Weren't you even curious? Of course I was curious, Tam, but my hunger for experimentation was tempered by reason. Imagine the damage I could have done if I had dared to experiment on my own. I was an apprentice, so a sensible course of action for me was to follow the lead of my master. Any other course of action would have been illogical. That's hardly an adventuresome attitude. I admit my actions may seem overly cautious, but that is the way of my people. Curiosity is tempered with careful analysis. However, ever since I left Lantan, I find I'm growing more bold in my quest for discovery. After all, I did come to a plague-infested city in order to chronicle a new disease, among other things. Among other things? What do you mean? Is there another reason you came to Neverwinter? I'm sorry, Tam. I should not have said anything about this to you. It really is a trivial matter, and you have far more important things on your mind. You can tell me, Bodyknock. Maybe it's something I can help you with. Ask me about this again later, Tam, and I will be happy to continue my tale. But for now, we should focus on your mission for Lady Aribeth. Let's...
Is there something you need?
I just need to talk for a while. I'm a staunch proponent of the free exchange of ideas, Tam. What is it you wish to know? I want you to continue your story from before. I told you earlier I came to Neverwinter to study the Wailing Death, Tam, but there was another reason I came, as well. Given that all this happened, it seems rather unimportant now. But you did ask me, so I must conclude that you are interested in my motivations. I have come to Neverwinter in search of bread. Bread? I know, how foolish it sounds, but I heard tales of a special type of bread found only here in Neverwinter. Leaven bread, they call it. It's said that the loaf stays fresh for months, and that it will never go stale or mouldy. I was hoping that when I came to Neverwinter, I could find someone to teach me the secret of making this wondrous leaven bread. It could determine the agents that keep the bread from spoiling. I think the principles could be applied to any number of uses. With a little research, the discovery could be much more than simple bread. But you haven't found anyone to give you the recipe yet. I looked for some time when I first arrived in the city, but it seems the secret is only known by a few master bakers, and unfortunately they've all been claimed by the plague. I suppose someone still has a copy of the recipe somewhere, but the more I witnessed the death and suffering in this place, the less important discovering the leaven bread became. I believe the discovery of the leaven bread recipe could have far-reaching benefits, and I would like someday to be able to bring back a copy of my home... Bring a copy back to my home of Lantan. But I know your mission is more important, Tam. I will not let my scientific curiosity get in the way of your work. I happen to have the recipe for leaven bread right here. You do? This is wonderful. Yes, this is exactly what I need. I have no gold or treasure to reward you, but there is one thing I can offer, a small token perhaps, but it's all I have. Before I left Lantan, I was given this ring by my master, Profio. He said it embodies the essence of discovery and the quest for knowledge. Because you have helped me in discovering the miracle of this leaven bread, I feel you have earned your right to wear this ring. Thank you, Bodyknock. The ring comes from the island of Lantan, island of discovery and invention. It has the power to grant insight to its wearer. I regret there's nothing else I can give you, Tam, but once more I thank you for what you have done. We should return our attention to greater matters now and resume your mission. Aribeth is counting on you. Whoa, that was a long chat. Next. Oh god, Grimnaw's gonna kill my throat. Okay, here we go.
Waiting for you. I suspected you would return. Do you need me to join with you once more?
Yeah, for sure. My blade is yours to command.
Yes? Is there something you need?
I need a drink first. I just wanted to talk for a while. My strength is in weapons, not words, Tam. I want you to continue your story from before. In the time we've been together, you have respected my request for privacy, Tam. Now I feel I'm ready to tell you the rest of my tale. I mentioned my exile to you before, Tam. The truth is, I do not willingly leave the Uthgard to come to Neverwinter. The tribe cast me out. I'm a monstrous half-breed. As a child, it was obvious my blood was tainted. I was violent and savage. It's only because of the pleas of my mother that the tribe did not slay me as an abomination while still an infant. Did they hate you so much just because you were different? You don't understand. Not only am I different, I'm half orc. The orcs are my tribe's most hated enemies. For generations, they've warred with the Uthgard. How could my tribe welcome me when I'm a living reminder of their worst foe? What about your father? I never knew my father. My mother never spoke of him, though I saw the pain in her eyes when I asked. But where the pain came from, I could not say. Some of our tribe said he was a vile beast who forced himself on my mother during a raid. Others claimed my mother loved him and welcomed him to her bed, then wept when he was murdered by the warriors who discovered him. The truth I shall never know, for it died with my mother last winter. At her death, the tribe cast me out. Can you blame them? Why waste good provisions on a half-breed bastard? Yet to prove himself in the world. That's horrible. They had no right to do that. I bear my tribe no ill will. They had little choice. Until I prove myself, they cannot be certain where my loyalties lie. Once I show the spirit of Uthgard is pure within the Red Tiger tribe. Once I show the spirit of the Uthgard is pure within me, the Red Tiger tribe will welcome me back. Bit of punctuation there would have been nice. Would have helped me out. And it's not as if they abandoned me in the cold. They gave me food and weapons before they sent me out into the world to prove myself. And a sacred talisman of the tribe once carried by my mother. Forgive me, Tam, but I cannot speak of this anymore. It's too painful. I want to help you, Dalen. I thank you for this kind offer, but there's little you can do for me right now. Please, Tam, the things I said before, the words were, this is not the time to speak of such things. Perhaps I will speak more of this, but not now. End dialogue. Begin
Yes.
dialogue.
Is there something you need?
My voice is totally different from his voice. I just want to talk for a while. My strength is not in weapons, not words, Tam. I suppose you deserve to know the rest of the story, Tam. I've kept this weight upon my heart. We're doing this, but we're in this together. We're both warriors, after all. If I cannot turn to my brother in arms for aid, who in this world can I count on? There's something troubling me, Tam. My quest to prove my worth as an Uthgard warrior has not yet begun, and I already fear I've failed. Failed? How? I'm not the first Red Tiger warrior to be exiled in this way, though most who undertake a vision quest do so as a punishment for committing some crime or transgression against the tribe. When the warrior is sent from the tribe, he's given a special talisman. This talisman must remain by his side, for its magic brings the visions, and the visions illuminate his quest. My talisman was a simple brooch worn by my mother. Oh, excuse me. One of sentimental and spiritual value. Alas, I fear my quest will never be complete now, as the talisman, the key to my visions, is lost. It happened shortly after I started work at the docks. I tried to keep a vigilant guard over the talisman, but the district is crawling with pickpockets and cut purses. Ever since it was stolen, I have sought the brooch. But how can one locate such an object? It is unique, but of little monetary value. It may be that the thief that stole it threw it away when he realized how little it was worth. That was partly the reason I stayed so long at the docks, hoping I might somehow discover the brooch. I'm certain it's somewhere in the docks district even now, if it was not burned on the bonfires with the plague corpses. Don't worry, Dalen, we'll find your corpse somehow. We'll find your brooch somehow. Ooh. We'll find your corpse. Die. I know I shall probably never find my brother's brooch again, Tam, but I shall not give up hope. Without it, my vision quest will never be revealed to me. If I find it, I'll let you know. Oh, we definitely need to go back to the docks then. Thank you, Tam. But now we should return to the task at hand. Aribeth is counting on you. Through here, Grimnaw. Oh, oh, that was an impressive bug. Are you blocking the door a little way intentionally, Bodinock?
So you...
Yes, send a dialogue. You come with me. I want you to get out of this room. Oh, you can stay there. Okay, Grimnaw.
I have been waiting for you. I suspected you would return. Do you need me to join with you once more?
Time to embrace the pain of you doing Grimnaw's voice. Then together we shall rain blood and death upon the world. I need a drink before I do this.
Is there something you need?
I need to buy you a lozenge, for goodness sake. Get some nice tunes. Maybe a strepsil? No, not a strepsil. What the other one's called? Tunes and hall soothers. Get you a hall soother. Lockets, that's what they were called. The other ones. Right. I just need to talk for a while. Conversation is one way to pass the time until the Silent Lord comes to claim us. What do you wish to speak about? I want you to continue your story from before. Very well, Tam. I've been reluctant to speak of my time at Mithral Hall, but you will not let the matter rest. When Brunor Battlehammer reclaimed the throne of Mithral Hall, not 20 years ago, he kindled a fierce racial pride in all the dwarves in the north. He was one of many who flocked to Brunor's banner. I'm not doing his voice right. I was one of many who flocked to Brunor's banner. One of many who came to the battle the denizens of the Underdark and drive them to the mines beneath Mithral Hall. But they wouldn't accept you, would they? This was long before I joined the Order of the Long Death, and at first Mithral Hall welcomed me. For even then I did not fear death, and I was eager to inflict it upon my enemies. There were many among Brunor's followers who shared my love of battle, and the reckless fury with which I slaughtered my foes, but none of them appreciated the terrible beauty of what was all around us. Have you ever heard the glorious chorus of the screams of the dying drow echoing in the chambers of the dwarven mine? Or paused in battle to taste the palpable spectre of death descending on the field like a cool mist? Have you ever stood over a dying comrade, drinking in his pain and fear as his life fleets away, gazing into his eyes to glimpse the terrible understanding shining through the final instant death claims him? Can't say that I've had the pleasure. After the battles, I would walk among the scarred corpses, fascinated by the truth of their deaths. The others found it disturbing, I knew, but I couldn't stop. The compulsion was so strong. And as I wandered amidst the twisted, mangled bodies and gazed into their masks of agony forever frozen on their faces, I understood Drow. Durgar, dwarf, in death we're all the same. In death we are all perfect. I tried to share my revelations with my brothers in arms, but they could not understand. They only looked at me with horror and disgust. They were weak, Grimnaw. They couldn't dare to face death like you. I think we need to part ways now, Grimnaw. That's a good choice. No kidding, you're a freak, Grimnaw. That's what they said as well. I thought they were glad to have me at their side, although they were glad to have me at their side whenever the drow attacked. I left Mithral Hall shortly after my revelation in search of something. I found the Order of the Long Death. I suppose I cannot blame my feral dwarves for their reaction. The acceptance of death is not easy. Even among my order, there are some who cannot face the Silent Lord when their time comes. What do you mean by that? I'm sorry, Tam. I should not have said anything about this to you. This is a matter that must be solved by those of my order. You can tell me, Grimnaw. Maybe it's something I can help you with. This is not the time to speak of this, Tam. Let us return to our mission. The Silent Lord's hunger will not be sated by mere words. Whoa, that was actually quite fun. I need to drink more before I do it again, though. Lube that larynx.
Is there something you need?
I just want to talk for a while.
Conversation is one way to pass the time until the Silent Lord comes to claim us. What do you wish to speak about?
I want you to continue your story from before.
I told you earlier, this is a matter for those of my order, Tam. But you have proven yourself to be an agent of the Silent Lord. Death follows you wherever you go. I've not been completely honest with you about my reasons for coming to Neverwinter, Tam. I came here in search of someone. Her name is Alaganda. Like me, she was a disciple studying to enter the Order of the Long Death. We often trained together in anticipation of our initiation. I will not describe our initiation rituals to you, Tam, but the Silent Lord claims many who undertake them. Only the few of us survive, as I did, are welcomed into the Order of the Long Death. But Alagonda could not bear to face her own mortality. On the morning of her initiation, she fled, breaking her vows she swore when she first joined the Order.
And you followed her here?
I did not follow her right away. The ravages of the ritual had left me broken and weak. But when I recovered, my instructor came to me and told me what I must do. Alagondar has denied the Silent Lord that which is rightly his. For this, she must die, and because I am the lone survivor of the most recent initiation, I am given the privilege of killing her. If I'm ever to advance further in the Order of the Long Death, I must bring back proof of Alagonda's death to my masters.
Proof? What kind of proof?
Alagonda always wears a forged silver ring embossed with a crest of her family, a soaring falcon against a full moon. After wearing it for so many years, the ring will not fit over her finger, and she would never willingly remove the ring, while she lives in any case. The Silent Lord has many tools to reap his harvest. Alaganda may have succumbed to the plague or other misfortune, but I will search the city until I either kill her or I find that ring. Or I find the ring that proves she is already dead.
I'll help you find the ring and kill Alaganda, or at least help you find the ring.
I will not rest until that ring proves Alaganda has been taken by the Silent Lord, though I know my chances of success are few.
If I find it, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Tam. But for now, we must return to the task at hand. The Silent Lord must be fed with the constant supply of new victims.
You're
Oh,
back, so you must need something.
Botinok, you're seriously messing with me now, aren't you? Get out the way. Okay, where are you? In here? Sharwin.
I suspected you'd show up here soon. I'm glad to see I was right. So, shall we join up once more?
Yes. Good, let's go. Oh, yeah.
Yes? Is there something you need?
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about her voice. Okay, I just needed to talk for a while. Talk? About what, Tam? I want you to continue your story from before. I suppose I did offer to tell you about that. My family, didn't I? Very well then, Tam. I'll tell you. By my family, I actually mean my mother. She's my only true family I've ever known. I'd never met my father. And my mother parted ways he and my mother parted ways before I was born. Mother was an adventurer, you see, a mage, in fact, of some skill. This is what other people have told me, however, as my mother would never discuss it. She left that life behind, along with my father, to marry a man of wealth. Why would she do that? As I said, Mother wouldn't discuss it. She had far more important considerations, after all, than any adventuring nonsense. My mother wanted wealth. She wanted to live a life of fine jewellery, of carriage rides, and a fine mansion in Blacklake. Her husband was a means to an end. She left behind her magic, and instead spent her life spending money, far more money than my stepfather could ever afford. She didn't care a whit for his complaints so long as he kept providing her coin. When he died unexpectedly, she was devastated, not because he was gone, but because he left behind a mountain of debts. She was terrified at the thought of being poor. What about you? Were you saddened by his death? I never really knew him, to be honest. My mother kept me quite distant, shuttled from one private school to another. She formed a desperate plan. Although she rarely saw me when I was a child, now she had need of me. Now she had need of me. I was a comely young woman, and she would see me wed to a wealthy benefactor. Not for my benefit, of course, but for her own. I was so meek and accomplished to be ruled by her. I was so meek and accustomed to be ruled by her, I couldn't even conceive of an objection. My mother had an eye on the young Lord Fartherington. He would never stoop to marrying poor nobility, however, not unless he desired me. I would have to seduce him. Did you? I had intended to. I went to Lord Fartherington's estate to attend a party that was being held in his honour, my mother meaning us to meet. When we arrived, I was awestruck at the size of the hall. There were so many people dancing, I could barely take it all in, and the music was so beautiful. I stepped onto the floor and approached the man my mother pointed out. He was very nervous, but the man was handsome and kind and witty. I fell in love with him immediately. My mother grabbed me away from him angrily not long later. I had mistaken her directions. It was not Lord Fartherington I had danced with, after all. It was far too late for my heart, however. I take it your mother wasn't happy about that. She was furious, naturally. Since I never got to meet Lord Fartherington, she was even worse when it was discovered who I'd met. His name was Dannon, a penniless apprentice bard in the service of Lord Fartherington. I was utterly in love with him. My mother told me to forget all about him. I couldn't, however, despite the possibility that we might lose everything. Love can do that. I was young and blind and hopeless. I fell for the first man who showed interest in me. Not that my mother intended for that to stop us. I had a chance, obviously. Take the path I was expected to and seduce Lord Fartherington, or run off with the penniless bard. I should have done one or the other. As it turned out, I made a mess of everything. Being a young fool, I suppose that could be expected. I'll tell you what happened sometime later, perhaps. Let's just continue on with what we were doing, shall we? No,
Yes.
we shall finish
Is there something you need?
finish the story. Finish the story. Let's hear her voice again. Never mind.
Yes? Is there something you need?
Yes? Is there something you need? I just need to talk for a while. Talk? About what, Tam? I want you to continue your story from before. You want to hear the rest of the tale about my ill-fated affair, do you? I suppose there's no harm in that. I should have run off with Dannon, or turned him aside completely. I did neither, as I was unwilling to disobey my mother. Instead, I seduced Lord Fartherington as she wished, and loved my bard in secret. Dannon was kind to me. He enthralled me with his music, and I adored him. Lord Fartherington, on the other hand, was merely lustful and possessive, and my mother was overjoyed. This couldn't have gone on long. No, that's true. These things are bound to come to a bad end, of course, and I wish I'd known that. As the date of my marriage to Lord Fartherington grew closer, he began to suspect that something was amiss. I spent far too much time away from him and in Dannon's arms. It was all my mother could do to convince him that I was true to his love, and that it was she who finally discovered me in the arms of my bard. So did she have Dannon killed? So you killed her, or an unpleasant scene? I would bet. I'll go with an unpleasant scene. I would bet. To say the least, my mother was horrified beyond belief and sent the guards chasing after Dannon. He escaped, thankfully, and I was undeterred. Mother turned to me then and forbade me to see Dannon ever again. I was to marry Lord Fartherington, and that was all there was to it. I refused at first. I loved Dannon, and nothing else mattered. So she begged me. That proud mother got on her knees with tears in her eyes, and begged me not to abandon her to poverty. I could do as I was expected, save my mother and marry a man who I did not love, or I could run off into the unknown with Dannon. You chose Dannon? I struggled with the decision, for I had never had to make up my own mind, but the thought of a dreary life with Lord Featherington frightened me so. I chose Dannon. Lord Featherington was outraged. He tried to have Dannon and me executed, and we were forced to flee, and not a copper between us. My mother was crushed. She was turned out from noble society, and as she feared, and lost everything to repay my stepfather's debt. What did you do then? I fled from Neverwinter with Dannon, and we travelled far, and he taught me how to become a bard in my own right. I did not return home for many years, until recently in fact. It was an odd feeling to discover that Lord Featherington lost his own fortune years ago, and both he and his household were now dead from the plague. That was the fate that had awaited me. And my mother, I have only been to see her once since my return. She still lives? She's lived all these years as a poor seamstress, it seems, bitter, and blaming me for the poor luck which had befallen her. We said little to each other. As she ordered me out of the leaky cottage, I did find one thing, however. She was dying. She suffers from bone rot, a disease which would require the attention of several clerics for a month to heal normally. With the plague, however, no one can help her, though I've tried in vain to find one who can. Why would you ever want her healed? Is there nothing that can be done, or perhaps I could help her? Perhaps I could help her. Perhaps you could, Tam, though it is nothing that would require a great deal of time. I know of one sure cure for bone rot, an extract from a flower that is said can only be grown in the fabled cliffs of Mount Celestia. Finding such a potion would be difficult, I have no doubt. It is my hope to find one, however, and save my mother's life. I do not owe her, really, but I would like to know I did this one thing for her. Now, perhaps we shall find it on our travels. Perhaps we will, though I doubt it. Let's get on with your mission, Tam. There are others who are sick, who are far more likely to save. Okay. Let's take
So you must need something.
body knock. Right, so we want a flower, a ring, and a necklace, and a chalice.
I figured they'd drag your carcass.
Let's go, Tommy. Oh, gosh, excuse me. That's what happens if you drink beer and don't sleep. Enough. I did sleep some. Have I looted that chest? I have not. Bolts of frostbite. Excellent. What now? Blacklake district, I guess. Well, we need to go back to the docks at some point. Well, I'll end this video now anyway, and start another one.